Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. We're not on me yet, are we? Good morning and welcome to New Road, where behind me the Worcestershire and Durham players have been warming up ahead of day 3 of their LV Equals Insurance County Championship meeting. Here are the highlights from day 2.
Record-breaking Stokes hits 88 ball 161 on comeback. Few teams across both divisions of the LV County Championship had quite such a productive day as Durham at New Road. They'd lost just 3 wickets and a century from Dixon, matched by 50s from Peterson, Borthwick and Beddingham, the latter 2 unbeaten, put them in a strong position at 339 for 3 at the start of day 2. Borthwick would be the first to depart on the second day, the captain trapped in front for 89, a second ever wicket for Gibbon, who was now bowling at the England captain. Ben Stokes next in for Durham, and quick into his work, opening his account after 3 balls without even needing to run. Stokes certainly wasn't shy. He took the Pears attack to pieces and found routes to and over the New Road boundary. A second 6 in 34 balls put 400 on the board for Durham. Another Stokes sixer took the pair to a 50 partnership off 65 balls. The bolt scored by the number 6. Beddingham wasn't about to let his exalted colleague steal all the headlines, up to 100, as he showed Finch the maker's name and found the ropes past the evasive manoeuvres of bowler, umpire and non-striker alike. After an hour at the crease, having faced just 47 balls, the spotlight was back on Stokes. He had his half-century, albeit with a little bit of fortune. He kept going hard at the Worcestershire bowlers, 450 on the board as Leach disappeared to the fences, and then over them to bring up the 100-run partnership from 105 balls. Josh Baker won't hold fond memories of the 117th over of the innings. Stokes launched him for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row to score a quite magnificent century off just 64 balls. A startling assault, even by his own lofty standards, and he wasn't done. Frustrated as he looked for 6 off the last ball, but watched as it skipped off the turf. Durham now 2 away from 500. And Stokes refused to slow down. Leach again carted all around the ground. Gibbon too, a chastening experience. By the time they'd reached lunch, Stokes was 3 runs away from a 150. Durham 1 shy of 550. The partnership was worth 189 off 149 balls, and Stokes was just 1 more 6 away from the county cricket record. It had been quite some morning to behold. He swiftly made his way to 150 with a record equalling 16th 6 of his innings. Just 19 more balls required to get there after reaching 3 figures. Beddingham 2 swiped to 6, this one off D'Oliveira to bring up the 200-run stand for the 5th wicket. And then the record-breaking moment for Stokes in the very same over. A 17th 6 took him clear at the top of the charts. No batter had scored more in an innings in the LV County Championship, and he'd become the first person in the country to score 100 runs in 6s alone. D'Oliveira brought his rampant innings to an end. Stokes was looking for an 18th maximum when he was caught by Haynes. And 3 balls later, Beddingham followed, caught by D'Oliveira as he tried to lift Baker over the offside boundary. Borthwick waved them back in at the end of the over. Durham declared on 580 for 6. Only Alex Lees had failed to pick up a landmark total, but the innings had been all about Ben Stokes. Coming in with Beddingham on 81, he'd finished 26 runs ahead of his colleague, having faced 87 fewer deliveries. A record-breaking knock that won't be forgotten fast. And as if to rub salt in the wounds, Durham had their hosts 2 down after just 2 overs. Potts dealing with Libby first, caught by Eckersley for a golden duck. And then 4 balls later, Ali followed. Another man unable to get off the mark, caught by Lees. Potts had a third, Haynes trapped in front with just 16 on the board, and before they'd made it to 50, Potts had 4. Pollock outcaught by Eckersley for 32. The man with the Midas touch was denied a wicket. The ball hit the stumps. The Bales refused to move. It was the life they needed, some stability found by the 5th wicket pair, 50 runs on the board and more to come. The 50 partnership came when Barnard emphatically pulled Rushworth for 4, and before the end of the session they were up to 100, 3 figures of relief as Barnard found the single. They would wander off soon after, the score 110 for 4, still 470 behind, but at least Worcestershire had found the resistance they needed. It continued after tea. Barnard and D'Oliveira denied the Durham attack their partnership worth 100 runs when Rushworth brushed the pads of the Worcestershire captain. After holding on for so long, D'Oliveira finally succumbed to Rushworth, courtesy of a fine leaping catch from Eckersley in the slips. Barnard had his 50 soon after, with a boundary off Potts, and then another to the very next ball took the Pears to 150. But he too would fall, Potts with a 5-for. Barnard looking to the heavens as he left the Durham seamer to clatter into his off stump. Leach and Cox clung on until the umpires escorted them off for bad light, with around 10 minutes left in the day. In the midst of some record-breaking Ben Stokes magic, a cricket match is taking place, and the Pears had played their part, as had Potts. But all the headlines will be about the England captain, and rightly so. He'd made absolute mincemeat of everything sent down his way. The only thing missing was a wicket, but with 4 still to take, on this form, you wouldn't put it past him to take all of them on the morning of day 3.
Which one are you, George? You're in here, aren't you? B. There we go. Well, good morning everybody and welcome to day 3 of this LV County Championship match between Worcestershire and Durham at New Road. Glorious day, and Worcestershire need to bat if they're to get out of this game with anything at all. They're right up against it after Ben Stokes' heroics yesterday, particularly in the morning when he clubbed his 100 before lunch, his record-breaking innings, all 88 balls of it and 17 sixes. 161, the ton for David Beddingham as well has put Durham in a fantastic position, and Matty Potts' 5 wickets yesterday, and the man of the moment, Ben Stokes, is delivering the first ball of the morning to Ben Cox, and he tucks it off his hip down to fine leg for a single. So Worcestershire are away off the first delivery, 174-6. Leach has 13, Cox has 7, and they just need to follow the lead set late yesterday by captain Brett D'Oliveira and Ed Barnard, who put on 101 runs for the 6th wicket yesterday before they were both out in quick succession. D'Oliveira for 41 and Barnard for a very well made 55. Here's Stokes then in past the umpire and bowls, and up onto the back foot goes Leach and turns it out to the covers, and there's no run. I'm Dan Wheeler. Martin Emerson from BBC Radio Newcastle is with us today, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by the England Southern Vipers and Birmingham Phoenix all-rounder Georgia Elvis. Hi Georgia.
Hello, good morning.
Well, he didn't miss much yesterday.
I'm gutted. Absolutely gutted. What a day that was.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, sort of pinch yourself sort of entertainment really. This is really happening. But Stokes in past the umpire bowls, wide outside the off stump. From a Worcestershire perspective, you did feel for them a bit yesterday. It's one of those occasions where it's like, you know, you just want the ground to open up really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Durham very lucky having a guy the calibre of Ben Stokes in their side, and for him to turn up and play the way that he did. I didn't manage to catch any of it live, but saw some of the highlights, and that was some brutal hitting, and it seemed like everything he hit just came off the middle of his bat, didn't it? Yeah,
he changed his bat about 3 or 4 times during the innings as he bowls to Leach wide outside the off stump. Leach leaves alone. And our colleague Martin asked him after the game, so why did you change your bat so much? He said, well, it was a new delivery apparently. He just wanted to find out what they were like.
Perks of being Ben Stokes. It's been nice to have that luxury.
Yeah, they all seem to have a pretty good middle, that's for sure. 17 sixes. But it was nice to hear that he actually sent a text to Josh Baker last night as well, which I thought was a really nice touch.
That was a nice touch actually, because Josh Baker would have been pretty sad after that day.
Stokes bowls, and again Leach shows good discipline, not tempted by that outside the off stump, and through it goes to Eckersley, 170-6, because we're all a bit worried for Josh. He's only 18, he's not 19 until next week, and after seeing the first 5 deliveries disappear out the ground, everyone was sort of harking back to the days of Malcolm Nash and Gary Sobers, the last time it happened in red ball cricket in England. But he showed a lot of guts, I thought, in that last ball to front up, and in the end only, I say, went for 4. That was a good delivery from Stokes. Just beat Leach outside the off stump. Through it goes to Eckersley. The end of a first over of this 3rd day. Stokes 10 overs, 4 maidens, none for 14 now. We'll update BBC Hereford and Worcester's FM listeners in just a second. Well, Worcestershire are now 174-6, so they've safely negotiated the first over of day 3 from Ben Stokes, who led all the fireworks with the bat yesterday. Of course, added a single to Ben Cox in that time. He has 7, Joe Leach has 13, and it's all about trying to bat as long as they can, just trying to replicate the guts and the determination shown by Brett D'Oliveira and Ed Barnard yesterday in repairing the innings. But there is still a very, very long way way behind in this game. Just have to try and bat today and hopefully all of tomorrow if they're going to escape this game, because the weather looks set fair. 170 for 6 in their first innings. They're still 410 runs behind. Matty Potts is starting a new over from the New Road end, opening up proceedings, and he bowled terrifically well yesterday. 5 for 36 from him. Cleaned out the Worcestershire top order, getting rid of the first 4 batters, Libby, Azhar Ali, Jack Haynes and Ed Pollock. And he comes right arm over. There's a flash over the top of the slips from Cox, and that runs away for 4. The old adage, if you're going to flash hard, as they say, and he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Potts obviously had a fantastic spell yesterday. Come out today, he'll probably be a little bit more weary after those overs yesterday, and just look a good day for batting today, doesn't it? Just fancy these two recognised batters still, and
yeah, they can certainly hang around. I mean, Joe Leach, when he first came into the side, was very much an all-rounder. Nowadays, of course, his bowling takes precedent, but he can certainly hang around and put bat to ball. As Potts bowls, and up onto his toes goes Cox and punches it off the back foot up to the covers. But yeah, Cox is definitely someone who can bat all day, and they still have batting to come. Josh Baker can certainly hang around too, and Adam Finch as well, and debutant Ben Gibbon. Not seen him bat yet, obviously it's his first game. He's due to come in at number 11, but yeah, they have the personnel to frustrate Durham, certainly, who are obviously hunting these last 4 wickets as quickly as they can. That's a nice looking drive from Cox, but he's hit the man at cover point rather, and there's no run. I think it's Sean Dixon there. He spent most of yesterday wearing pads under his trousers. I think he's still got them on, hasn't he?
yeah, it looks like it. Like he could be going under the lid when they decide to bring the spinners on.
Yeah, but they showed yesterday as well that as much as havoc as Potts wreaked, that you can get runs if you hang around. Once that shine's gone off the new ball, and next ball is left alone by Cox, through it goes to Eckersley. And I suppose that has to be kind of the mentality, doesn't it, for Worcestershire this morning? Yeah,
absolutely. Like I said, the conditions are pretty good for batting. Sun's out. Looks like a nice wicket. 51 overs old, or 52 coming up now, the ball. So hopefully for the Worcestershire batters it won't be doing too much out there, and it is just a case of getting themselves familiar at the crease this morning and then kicking on.
Potts bowls, and Cox is forward stoutly, pushing it out to the covers, and it's fielded by Alex Lees, and there's no run to end the over. Maiden from there's 4 over top of the slips, wasn't there? So 4 coming off that over from Matty Potts, his first of the day. 5 for 40 from his 14 overs, 174 for 6, so still the small matter of 406 runs behind, but it's all about trying to bat time now for Worcestershire. We did come off early yesterday for bad light, so they've added on 2 extra overs for the 7 minutes that we lost yesterday. Stokes starts a new over, runs here for Leach, nice little punch through the gap between mid-wicket and mid-on. It'll be chased towards the fence by Chris Rushworth. He's pulled it in a couple of yards from the boundary, but they come for 3. 177 for 6.
Yeah, good little start here by these two, isn't it? They've looked calm and in control, and just like they're ready to set up for a good session of batting, watchful. And yeah, Worcestershire will certainly be hoping that these two can stick around, hopefully at least till lunchtime.
Stokes throws himself a catch, and off he goes towards us, and turned off his hit by Cox. Now look for a 2, but wisely turn that down. The throw comes in from long leg. I Don't think there was 2 there. That would have been a bit daft.
Not in a red ball game. You might want to push it in a
Pressure back on the fielder, but that would have been nonsense, I think, there. And Worcestershire, of course, in the position they find themselves, can't afford any careless play and giving wickets away by silly runs. Leach won't get a run here, turning it to Dixon at backward point. There are 2 slips, gully, backward point. I guess form a kind of cordon behind square on the offside. There's a man down at long leg, and everyone else is pretty much up in the circle, mid wicket, mid on, mid off, and cover for Ben Stokes, who's on his way again past the umpire and bowls. Leach defends him back up the pitch, and there's no run. Stokes tries to do a bit of football to field it on his follow through, but his control lets him down. Should have had a wicket, or might have had a wicket yesterday when he bowled Ed Barnard. I say bowled in inverted commas because the ball rolled back onto his stumps and didn't dislodge the bail. So
not everything he touches turns to gold.
He's human after all. As he turns towards us now, right arm over, bowls a bouncer. That's very high. Has Eckersley managed to stop that? He hasn't, no. Big leap from the keeper. I thought it might have got his glove on it, but that was too high even for him. And that's raced away for 4 byes. Put a bit more into that one, Stokes.
Yeah, gosh, that absolutely took off, didn't it? Took absolutely everyone by surprise.
I've seen a few of those when Worcestershire were bowling. Ben Gibbon and Adam Finch dug a few in. But a bit of variable bounce. Some have kept a little bit low and some have absolutely flown. But if you can dig it in that short at Stokes' pace, you're always going to get it right up there. But that was easy for Leach to get out of the way of. And he comes again up to the stump. Stokes, that's a better short delivery. Comes up towards just above the stomach area of Joe Leach, and he's discomforted by that one. He's dug it out well though, won't get a run. He goes for a little walk and a prod of the pitch.
Yeah, he's not pitched many up this morning, has he,
No.
Stokes? He's hitting that hard length, as he so often does, trying to generate something or anything out of the pitch, but he looks in good rhythm.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he'll be feeling great obviously from yesterday. There's another short ball, that's a good one as well, as Leach again just had to tuck his chin in at the last minute to get his helmet completely out of the way, but that fizzed across the top of his head. 2 excellent short balls to finish that over from Ben Stokes. None for 20 from 11 overs now in the match, and 4 maids to go with those. 184 for 6. Leach has 16 and Cox has 12. Yeah, it's a bit like reminiscing what they used to say in the West Indies in the 80s when they were great, and Michael Holding used to say, you come to the West Indies, you want to drive, you better go and hire a car. It's a little bit like that in that over. Stokes hasn't really pitched much in the batsman's half. Here's Potts then, starting a new over, bowling to Cox, who's forward, and playing it out to the covers, and there's no run. Great week, of course, for Stokes with his appointment as the England men's Test captain. Should do a good job, shouldn't he, George, you would think?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was probably the most obvious choice as well, wasn't he? Obviously leads by example, as you've seen yesterday.
Potts bowls, wide outside the off stump. No shot from Cox.
And he's a different type of cricketer, isn't he? He's going to take, you feel he's going to take this red ball team on another journey to another level. Somebody who can hit 160 the way he does, and the way he can strike the ball in whatever format of the game. I think it just inspires whoever he's leading, whoever's in his team, to want to be as good as he is.
Potts past the umpire and bowls again, wide outside the off stump. A little shovel forward by Cox, but keeps the bat well out of the road. Through it goes to Eckersley. I suppose that the worry is that people have that his workload will be quite high given what he does for the team. You're an all-rounder as well, of course. Is it an easy thing to juggle? I mean, especially if you're captain as well. You want the ball in your hand. You think, right, it's my job to get wickets, or it's my job to dig us out of this hole, or we're in with the bat, or whatever it is. As Potts comes there, he's lost his run-up just as he's about to go through his delivery stride. Cox not ready. Maybe saw something in the crowd.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question because it can be really tricky to manage. But you see people talk about him as one of the best trainers. He's obviously one of the fittest guys in the team. He works really hard on that. So he gets himself in good shape to be able to deal with those demands. And I think then it's all about his tactical brain, which I think we know is very good.
Potts bowls. Cox won't get a run here. It's a nicely timed turn up to mid-on, but it's straight to Matt Salisbury. 184 for 6.
And I think captains who bowl a fair bit, probably not as common in the game, but we've seen with Pat Cummins in Australia, he's been able to manage his bowling workloads. Obviously not as prolific an all-rounder, I suppose, as Stokes in terms of the number that he bats.
Potts bowls, and this is nicely tucked off his hip by Cox. They'll run the first quickly, hoping to get back for 2, and they will. There's a sliding stop down at fine leg. Nice work. Good throw too over the stumps to Eckersley, but they are back for a second run. 186 for 6. Cox up to 14.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about Ben Stokes being appointed captain. I think he'll bring his own spin to it.
Potts bowls short and down onto his knees.